Heads up, this review focuses exclusively on the multiplayer modes of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. For a deep dive on the campaign, check out our single-player review, and our final overall review is coming soon. Giving the latest Call of Duty effectively the same name as one of the most revered multiplayer shooters of all time is a bold move. Right out of the gate, it creates sky-high expectations that are challenging to actually fulfill. And while Call of Duty Modern Warfare does look excellent and has some good new and improved features, the disappointing selection of maps encourages bad behavior, and it's missing certain things I'd expect to see in a 2019 Call of Duty. I'm still having fun with Modern Warfare's multiplayer, just not quite as much as I had with its recent predecessors. After well over 100 matches, I've seen how the community has adapted to this new war zone, and camping certainly is a big part of it. Modern Warfare's 10 core maps are paired with what feels like slightly slower movement, fast time to kill streaks over score streaks until you unlock a certain perk at level 49, and generally tight corners with an abundance of hidey holes. All of that together makes it easy to set up shop and wait for kills. But so long as you're making use of the anti-camper equipment provided in Modern Warfare's arsenal, they aren't too much of a problem as long as you're into dealing with that style of play. What is a problem is there aren't many options to help break a siege on your team's spawn. Spawn camping is the most dastardly of tactics, one that punishes an already losing team. Limited exits for certain spawns, like in St. Petrograd, make it outrageously effective. There aren't many tools for the siege team to break out of their spawn either. In a better version of this game with better maps, though, there shouldn't need to be any sort of equipment or workaround to fix this. To be fair, there are some maps I do like. Arklov Peak and Ramaza are at the top of my list, but I've generally grown more disappointed with this collection of maps the longer I've played. I let out an audible groan whenever the Euphrates Bridge map pops up, no matter the game mode. It's an awful map that almost always favors one team. St. Petrograd is almost up there with it, as both of them have points of engagement that are limited in a tiring way. There's no way to avoid the maps you dislike either. The long-standing feature that lets everyone in a match vote on which map appears next is absent, which is probably due to the customizable quick play queue. I'm also sad that, in over 100 matches played, I've only seen one of the really cool and interesting night maps once. Once! Of Modern Warfare's 3 all-new modes, Cyberattack's mild twist on Search and Destroy is the least interesting. Gunfight's fast 2v2 skirmish with rotating weapons, on the other hand, is fun if you got a good friend to play with, and still a decent palate cleanser with a random teammate. But Realism is by far my favorite new mode. It's the same deathmatch format, but quieter, a bit slower, and downright beautiful. Modern Warfare's maps may not all be consistently enjoyable, but they are all gorgeous to look at, and Realism's complete lack of UI lets them shine. The returning Ground War mode also received a total refresh, ramping things up to allow 64 players. Its 2 maps are large and chaotic, but that's part of the charm. Ground War is like a toned-down Battlefield 5, where I felt like I could finally get a good spot to practice sniping. I'm looking forward to seeing if Infinity Ward chooses to increase the player count and add a few more maps. One of the few things I've loved about Modern Warfare is a small but impactful feature. When you're watching the kill cam to see how someone got the better of you, there's a button available that automatically copies your killer's loadout and lets you take it out for a 1 live spin. Modern Warfare has a great customization system for each of its weapons, so seeing exactly what gear works hands-on was enlightening. Unmodified weapons understandably don't quite stack up well against those that are equipped with scopes and stocks, but they're still viable. I kind of saw leveling my weapons as a careful training period. No one weapon felt like it was dominating over the rest, so long as I was using a smart loadout for the map and mode. The one downside to unlocking a bunch of attachments for my favorite weapons was slowly trying out new variations to decide what felt best, especially since there's no gun range to easily compare them for some odd reason. The 3 versions of Spec Ops, one of which is a nearly year-long PS4 exclusive, are easy to skip unless you've got a squad to roll with or a serious desire for basic wave-based challenges. These modes can be difficult, but not necessarily in the most exciting ways. Operations are the most interesting of the 3, with its objectives tied to the campaign. Enemies get better gear over time too, so there's a bit of mild strategy involved in making sure that everyone is surviving and avoiding dangerous areas. Classic Special Ops and Survival are both more traditional in their enemy waves, but Modern Warfare's foes aren't varied enough to be an interesting challenge on their own, and being crushed by overwhelming numbers isn't really all that enjoyable, especially when trying to coordinate strangers. Call of Duty Modern Warfare's scaled-up version of Ground War is a chaotic good time, and realism quiets things down a bit to present a uniquely delightful challenge. The rest of Modern Warfare's multiplayer ranges from great additions like Gunfight and its in-depth weapon customization, to mediocre with modes like Spec Ops. But across most of them, mediocre maps make spawn camping a frustrating problem, and escaping the ones where you know you'll have a bad time is more challenging with removed map voting. But there sure is a lot to do in Modern Warfare, and that variety is important to keep things feeling fresh after the occasional unexpected low points. For more on Modern Warfare's multiplayer, be sure to check out my full written review on IGN, and don't forget to watch our video review of the campaign. For everything else, stick with IGN.